Look, I can't help but think that now might be a good time for a little fire and ice.
Do not know. There's never a good time for fire and ice.
What happens when you mix fire and ice?
Warm water, baby.
It's bubbling, baby. Warm water. Warm water.
All right, let's do it. What's going on, everybody? Fire and ice over here at, I was going to say Cabo Jet, Bikini Joe's. I need to get my Joe's correct. We're over here again, 3309 Rich Beam. I got to try to remember the address. You figure with all the threes and all my like Twitter and Instagram and all that, having Mr. Tip in 33, it'd be easier for me, but I'm not a smart man. I never claimed at one point I was never a smart man.
You're a little dumb.
Brandon the Iceman Cohen. We got Stephen Michael Puga hanging out with us today as well. A lot of stuff going on. There's actually preseason football on right now. I thought it was a replay, and Puga pointed it out to me. No, this is live right now.
Yeah, it's live. The Broncos and the Bills right now, NFL Network.
And nobody cares about those teams at all.
Yeah, no, we're not. Yeah.
Maybe in El Paso, like, are there very many Broncos fans in El Paso?
I have a friend.
You don't have
that's a
friends.
big Broncos fan. Like, he loves the Broncos, and he takes every game seriously, even the preseason ones. He's from Germany though, so it's okay.
He does, so yeah, like if they're used to like football and everything, they take their football. So yeah. Okay. Brandon, I don't want to start off with the Dallas Cowboys, but I have to, and it's not because I want to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. I want to talk about the reaction that happens on different sports channels where the Dallas Cowboys have their first preseason game, and they have 17 penalties in it. They're already in midseason shape as far as I'm concerned.
Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. I'm ready, Coach McCarthy. Good job, for your last season. Hey,
mine or yours?
I think that's yours. Mine's
Okay.
hitting over there.
There we
Puga's is over there. Yeah. Well, folks, get ready for an abysmal season, and I don't mean that in a good way. Ultimately, they're going to be who we think they are. Their offense is going to be challenged because they have no receivers, and I mean, look, that's what we expect from the Dallas Cowboys. Now, granted, I never take much of anything from a preseason game because it's a preseason game and no one is trying as much as they should be, and they really shouldn't be because nobody wants to get injured. But again, it's a kind of like, in some respects, you're molding how things are going to go for the regular season and some particular instances. And this is the Cowboys that we know they create, and they have a million penalties. And that's Mike McCarthy football at its best.
Well, I give a shout out to Aurelia Nunez, who tuned in right now. The only Bills fan I think that I actually know and have spoken to. Like, not the ancillary Bills fans, like those random ass people, but someone I've actually met and know. The only one in all of El Paso. So congrats to you.
Wow.
Are you actually watching the preseason game right now is what I want to know, because I watched about maybe 5 minutes of the Cowboys game on, preseason Cowboys football. I was like, hey, we're back. And I realized why I don't watch preseason football.
It's
Puga,
brutal, man.
you've been watching all your Eagles games, right?
Yeah. I don't.
Dominating
I'm
the
almost-
Jaguars.
I'm almost at the point where, like, why is there even a preseason? Nobody plays. Everybody's
Okay.
doing the joint practices. I don't see the point of.
I think I discussed this last week with this numbskull, but he completely adamantly disagrees.
Well, the reason why there's actual preseason games is because of money, right?
Well,
this
yeah.
is a
Shekels.
machine.
Shekels.
This thing is a machine that chews you up and spits you out. You can play 20 years like Tom Brady, and 5 years after he retires, everyone will just forget all about him because whoever the next hotshot person is, right? Same thing with Patrick Mahomes. If Patrick Mahomes got hurt today and never played another down of football, none of us would give a damn at all, because our teams are just what our teams are, right? That's a machine that we keep feeding. I love the fact that there's preseason football. I'm not going to watch it, but I just love, like, there's guys out there giving themselves an opportunity to maybe make a team, maybe make a practice squad, change their lives around. Aurelia Nunez saying, yes, she is. Allen on the first drive, he got a touchdown. Of course he did. Freaking Josh Allen.
I mean, look,
And it's the Broncos defense.
But I wanted to bring this up to you, Brandon. Last week, you were very optimistic with the Dallas Cowboys. I was the one that was more on the nihilistic side of it, being like, this isn't going to be a good team. What the hell happened? Was it 17 penalties in a preseason game?
well, I mean, at least it was just a preseason game, right? If nothing else. But I mean, again, it's okay, so you can look at it from both sides. A, they haven't played in a long time. B, they're the Dallas Cowboys. So they do what we normally expect them to do, preseason, regular season, any season, it doesn't matter. Again, They need to, grow off of this, and they need to learn from their mistakes. But I've just, this has been an undisciplined team for a long time, so it doesn't surprise me. And I guess I'm also one of these people that looks at, I don't watch any preseason games, but I'm happy that at least football is back in some capacity, because obviously next week we'll have high school football, we'll have college football, then the NFL. But I mean, the other night I was like watching a few minutes of the Bears and Seattle game. I was watching like 5 minutes of it, and that was enough for me. But again, with the Dallas Cowboys, please don't get your hopes up too high, because if you do, you may very well be extremely disappointed this year.
So I got to ask you guys obviously big Cowboys fans. What has led up to this point where you guys feel like this?
Every
right
single
now?
Season in the last 30 years.
That's what I was. I mean,
what I mean is, like, you guys have been pretty optimistic for the last 5-6 years. With Dak and
no. See, that's the thing that I think.
Or the morale of the fan base is what I'm trying to.
No, I think that this is like a narrative, and I'm glad that you brought this up, because it's been festering within me very deep inside my soul.
I brought it out. I
Yes.
opened Pandora's box. Here we go.
The Dallas Cowboys always get this thing about like, oh, you guys are always like, it's our year, right? I don't think once ever I've said like it's our year. I think I've been like, I feel good about this team, but it's super hard to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
like
right.
I think about that, right?
Well,
But my thing is also every single fan base does that. Oh man, we look good this year. The Jacksonville Jaguars do that, and they
Trevor
never
Lawrence.
look good.
Yeah,
right. The Detroit Lions right now are like, we had Aiden Hutchinson, the number 2 overall pick. He's got to change the entire franchise's trajectory.
Right.
No, he's not. He's a defensive player. You are garbage.
You know when you look good? January. That's
Yeah.
when you look good. You
Yeah,
don't
that's
look
the only
good now.
time.
You don't look good midseason. Sure, you may be gelling in December. You look good in January when the postseason starts, and A, you've made it, and B, you're gelling at the right time. That's when you look good.
But for me, like Brandon's right. It's 27 years of abuse that this team has given us, where it's like you want them to be really good because you see that they have a ton of talent where they can be really good, and then they just shit the bed. Right down the toilet, and I apologize. I try to do this like better.
I love you. You're
right?
a funny man.
But that's just what they do, right? Like they get your hopes up. They look like they can be good, rattle off like 2 or 3 straight wins that are very, very good wins, or they're competitive against like the Buccaneers last year, the very first game of the season, right? Optimistic with this team, and then they lose to the Broncos, and then they lose to like the Falcons, and then they get ran over by like all these other bottom feeder teams, and you realize, oh, this isn't a good team. Like they don't play, or they play up and down to their competition. That's not a good team. You should always be playing up, right? And then whenever they're good, they're not good enough to win a Super Bowl. Whenever they're bad, they're not bad enough to get the number 1 overall pick. So it's like we've been stuck in this perpetual purgatory for the last 27 years.
It is a purgatory.
Where we've watched
Good way to look at
absolute
it.
legends like Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith come and go.
Yeah.
And then we watched Tony Romo come and go.
Yeah.
Terrell Owens come and go. The best years of Terrell Owens and Tony Romo just wasted because this team just doesn't. Maybe it's Jerry, but again, he wins like these GMs of the year, like executives of the year, which is so weird to me. He has some good drafts, and then like the next 2 drafts will be terrible. But then he gets a Zach Martin, and you're like, oh yeah, it's a really good pick.
I mean, again, it's a matter of you can never get too excited based on the previous disappointments and not being able to get out of the second round. I mean, not even to get out of the divisional round and make it to the conference championship. And ultimately, it's like I've always said, no matter how good they're doing, no matter how many games they've won in a row, you could never get too excited and too high on your horse about that team, because they will break your heart. And sure, I mean, look, it's just a matter of, it doesn't matter, sometimes how great they do in the draft or how much momentum they have. They're the Dallas Cowboys, and that's just what they've been doing for the last several years, is completely screwing their fan base over, unfortunately. I don't know how else to put it.
So I want to know, like, what Cowboys fans you come across, because, like, again, you're an Eagles fan, right? Which one of these, like,
most of them are on Twitter.
I don't even have to say it anymore because, like, over the last couple of years, I've done like Cowboys fan club things and things like that, right? I don't know if it was you or it might have been you, where at one point during the season, I sent like a text to you. It was like, you know what? I totally understand. It was on Twitter. Or I put like, you know what? I totally understand why people hate the Dallas Cowboys fan base now. Totally understand it. Just because these people just come out of nowhere and are, super loud and annoying, like we're winning the Super Bowl this year. But again, I feel like that's every single fan base.
I mean, you're all excited.
You have to feel that way, right?
It's a new season. It's a fresh start. Everybody's, 0-0, 0-0.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you had a good draft and you have some good players coming back, I mean, I don't see any reason why not to be optimistic. Because, look, if last year proved anything, it's that really and honestly anybody can make the Super Bowl. Anybody. I mean, nobody in their right mind saw Cincy making it.
Yeah,
and
but
making that run.
Did we need the Bengals to remind us of this? Because we've seen terrible teams like the Giants go on a run and win the Super Bowl.
Are they so terrible though? I mean, if they go on to win the Super Bowl, they're not terrible in my opinion.
Eli Manning was your quarterback.
And he's a 2-time Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, because of their defense.
Well, he's got to be a good game manager, and he made 2 spectacular throws in those Super Bowls.
Okay, Trent Dilfer.
What are you talking about? Dilfer?
Yeah.
Dilfer played with the greatest defense in NFL history.
Brad Johnson.
Again, great defense.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have thought that these are teams that are going to go win a Super Bowl just because they showed up to the Super Bowl.
But the point
Rich Gannon and the Raiders went to a Super Bowl.
But do you not have to be – they lost, too, to Tampa Bay. But
yeah, just like Cincinnati. So it gives you hope for everybody. What are you talking about?
If your team can make the Super Bowl, it's more than I can say about the Cowboys, man. I mean, sure, it sucks to get there and lose, but at least they're making the friggin' Super Bowl.
I don't know. I would rather – I think I'm the weird type of fan. Like, I would rather go 0-17 than losing the damn Super Bowl.
Oh, are you crazy, dude? You're nuts, man.
Well, losing the Super Bowl
I don't want to lose
tricky,
the Super
man.
Bowl.
Like, if you lose the Super Bowl,
you
there's a
have
good chance you're
job.
not going to be good the next year.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys are crazy.
And that's the thing is that you really could have just caught lightning in a bottle, right? Who's going to say, like, what if Cincinnati isn't the same team that we thought they were in the playoffs? Because you got to look at how they won a lot of games last year. It was Evan McPherson. The ball bounces one way or another. They don't win those games. They don't even sniff the playoffs.
Sure.
So
I mean, it's a
like,
game of inches. It really is.
Yeah, like that's any team, though. We saw the Eagles go to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like and defeat the greatest quarterback of all time and then just implode over the next year.
And get rid of a great coach.
I want to say a great coach.
I thought Peterson
what
was
do
a
you think
good
about
coach.
Peterson? You're the
I
Eagles
liked
fan
him.
here.
I liked him. I liked
Philly special.
I liked Peterson.
That's your Philly special.
I feel like maybe they kind of got rid of him a little prematurely.
Oh, dude, that's an understatement.
I hear that Eagles have a problem with like prematurity, though.
I don't want to make the joke. I
Their
was
fan
thinking
base.
about it, you know.
Well, I mean, I just feel like when Carson Wentz went down the toilet with his awful quarterback play in 2020, I feel like there was no coming back from whatever the situation was, you know?
Yeah.
Somebody had to go. It was either Wentz or Peterson, and then we ended up getting rid of both. So, I mean.
So I've got a question for you, and I'm going to like also ask it over to Brandon. We have like a comment over here. Steven Metaluda saying, what's up, guy? I've been getting offers because I have a dynasty league, right? Mm-hmm. And I've got Patrick Mahomes as one of my quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts is one of my quarterbacks. Obvious reasons, right? Those are easy yards of scrambling. I've got people offering me all kinds of like drafts, trades to get Hurts.
Yeah.
You're not big on Hurts. Why?
I just don't think we can win the way he plays quarterback. I mean, you could win a couple of games. They put the right pieces around him. But, this is a league where you got to throw the ball 30, 40 times a game.
So, and they got Anthony Brown or A.J. Brown.
Yeah, exactly. So he has to go out and do it. I think this is his year to, like, get it done. Prove it. And the Eagles are this front office isn't dumb either. Like, they're essentially building in next year's draft, or they have 2 first-round picks next year. So, if it doesn't pan out with Jalen Hurts, you can trade him and move up in the draft, get your quarterback if there's one that you feel that is worth taking the chance.
But that's also the thing is, like, if it doesn't work out for Jalen Hurts, I don't think his draft value is going to be very high.
Yeah.
And I don't think teams are as dumb as the Cowboys where you trade one of the best receivers in the NFL for a 5th-round draft pick to a team that needs wide receivers. I hate that team.
Yeah.
Okay, so you heard, like, Puga's side of the story, like, doesn't think it's, like, the prove-it year. What are your thoughts on Jalen Hurts? Because I like Jalen Hurts.
I think he's going to have a good year.
I think he was a victim of a lot of dropped passes.
Yeah, and that's
the
Eagles.
Rager is horrible.
Rager, he's in his own head. But the Eagles last year, to what you just said, had a lot of touchdowns called back because of penalties. And, they could have potentially beat the 49ers last year. They could have beat so many other teams that if they just didn't make any key mistakes here and there, probably would have won. You know what I mean? So
I think Brown's going to be a huge addition. He was great for Tennessee. I think they could have a pretty darn good running game if everybody can stay healthy. I think they're going to. I like Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to continue to improve. And I say a couple of years from now he could have that team being a contender. I'm actually a fan of Hurts.
And he was the team's leading rusher last year too.
Exactly. So he's a great quarterback, especially fantasy wise. He's a great quarterback to have. But in real life, I'm not against Jalen Hurts. I think he could have a really good year.
What really
this year.
spooked me as a fan was the playoff game last year against Tampa Bay.
Oh, he just shit the bed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was probably one of the worst quarterback plays I've seen in playoffs. Probably not ever, but it's just, I mean, it was up there and it was pretty bad. And that's what concerned me. I was just like,
But we also saw that Bucs defense pick apart Patrick Mahomes.
Oh yeah,
right, right.
So I mean, that's a really good defense. That'll make any quarter. If you can make Mahomes look bad, you can make anybody look bad, right? Although I will contend again in that Super Bowl with Mahomes, he should have been the MVP because that team would have been blown smooth the hell out if he wasn't in there. The fact that he was diving to the side and was able to throw a pass that went right off the hands of Tariq Hill.
Right.
My God. Or no, it went off his helmet, didn't it?
I think so.
it did.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it
It
was
bounced
You're
right
right.
off his damn helmet.
Yeah.
Oh.
Terrible.
As I continue to grow here as a sports fan, my man crush list, Patrick Mahomes, climbing it, but then I hear him talk and he just plummets down the list.
Oh my goodness, does he ever?
How does that voice come out of
Kermit
that
the
guy?
Frog
Yeah.
voice.
It was a beautiful pass.
He's like Kermit the Frog, you know? That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
great voice.
Okay, so you talked about like Jalen Hurts being the number one rusher for the Eagles last year, right?
Mhm.
I had Miles Sanders on fantasy, and I know people don't care about fantasy football stuff. I'm staying the hell away from Miles Sanders now because it just seems like he never gets the ball.
Well, that, and he's always hurt. He's already hurt right now.
He's made of glass.
So yeah, I mean, when this guy's on the field, he can go.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he can really be a game changer. You know, I've seen him break 80-yard runs, 75-yard runs for touchdowns. He has that type of potential. Just again, doesn't get the ball enough. And then the Eagles have a run by committee running back system.
Yeah,
It's
like,
tough
what,
to
3 or
trust.
4
Yeah,
running backs, right?
it's just it's hard to trust a back like that,
Yeah.
especially if you are relying on him every week. You know, let's say for fantasy, but I mean, I think if he could stay healthy, I feel he's going to have a great year.
Yeah.
But he's got to stay healthy. That's the problem with
The
him.
biggest upset right here is that Brandon was paying attention to what you were saying while he was just enthralled with what was going on with the American Kennel
This
Club
is
right
great.
now.
These dogs, man, they're phenomenal.
I feel like there's
They're
too much
cute animals.
stimuli here for
There's
Brandon
a lot
right
going
now.
on. There's a lot of great screens here, man. I like this place.
I know, this
Well,
place
it's
is
we
great.
got cornhole. We've got what was that gaming basketball?
Yeah, this is cool. This place is
Baseball.
amazing.
Oh, that's
Free-
fake basketball. That's
Hey,
like
come on,
Yeah,
get out
PlayStation
here.
basketball.
That's esports. Yeah.
Tell them
I didn't
where
even
we're
know
at
that was
again.
a thing.
I love this place.
Again, we're out over here at Bikini Joe's 3309 Rich Beam Suite 101. It's Saturday. That means they got $2 PBRs, red beers, BOGOs on nachos. You know I'm happy
Wait a
about
minute.
that.
Oh, they just focus on
Yeah,
That sounds really
BOGOs
good.
on
BOGOs
nachos from
nachos
11 to 4 p.m.
Nachos coming up.
$4 Vegas bombs, nickel pints on select draft as well. Wow.
Damn, dude,
Nice.
that's some good specials. And this place is great. There's from what I count, like 8 or 9 TVs. They got football. We got dog things. We got the Sky playing WNBA playoffs. You got
golf.
basketball, golf. I mean, everything. This is wonderful. Plus, I got my buddy Tip here. That's the best part about him. Pugo. I hope I'm saying your name right.
Pogo.
Puga.
Not Pugo, Pogo.
It's Puga.
Puga.
P-U-G-A.
I was close enough, right?
This is BOGO, buy one, get one, nachos.
Did you say nachos?
Yeah, BOGO nachos.
I might snack some nachos.
Why
I was about
not?
to
I
say.
think we should get some nachos.
Puga and I were
Puga
here
can
last
eat.
night.
Were you
Yeah.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were here getting everything set up with Alyssa. Shout out to Alyssa for letting us do this today. That
You
was
know what?
totally
I'm
nice
glad
of
I
her.
know you now. You're a good dude,
I'm
man.
glad I know you now. Previously, I wasn't. But
Previously,
now,
I could have given 2 craps, but now you're a good man. I
Now
love
I
you.
am.
You're my new best buddy.
Oh, nice. Let's do it.
I
Okay.
make funnies too, just like you.
My man.
Stephen Metaludis asking us what has to be the worst question I've ever been asked. Do you think OU will beat UTEP?
It's the Pope
What, on
Catholic?
PlayStation or Xbox? What
No,
are you
no,
talking
no,
about?
like
Yes.
OU beating UTEP.
Yes.
What are the odds on that?
Probably.
I'm gonna say 100.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
You know, UTEP will lose handily rather, in Norman, probably by about 40 points. Yes, they will.
Well, I
beat
really
UTEP.
hope they cover the spread.
What do you think the spread will be? 40 something? What do you
So-
think? The spread?
So a couple years ago, we'll get back to the UTEP thing because you and I were talking about UTEP yesterday, Puga. But a couple years ago, New Mexico State played Alabama,
I remember that.
and I remember seeing the spread was 52 points. And I thought to myself, do you know how hard it is to lose by 7 touchdowns and a field goal? But they have to be able to cover the spread. Like, that's hard to lose by 52 points. They lost by 56.
Oh my goodness!
And I
remember
thought to
that,
myself, why did I ever doubt
too. Yeah,
Alabama?
yeah, don't doubt
Out of
Alabama.
all the things to doubt, I doubted Nick Saban in Alabama to not put a hurting on this team. Oh, my God. But Puga and I were talking yesterday about UTEP. He's all UTEP'd out with his
I'm
peach
excited. I'm excited.
UTEP
It
shirt.
looks great.
Brandon will be
Excited.
covering all the UTEP home games for us here on the Just a Tip network as well. Fire and Ice, all that good stuff. UTEP is about to sell out the Sun Bowl for the first time in a long time for this first game against UNT. I think we're all in agreement they have to win this game.
I
No
think
doubt.
it's one of the most important games on the schedule, and it's just right off the bat.
I'm going to go over that. I think it's one of the most important games this school has ever played. Because if they lose this game, I think they lose the entire fan base for the whole year. Because you're going to start off 0-2. And as we know in El Paso, if you're not front running, no one gives a crap about you.
Right.
See, I'm going to disagree only in the respect that Game 3 is New Mexico State, and you're going to get at least, with NMSU fans and UTEP fans in the rivalry, I'm going to say 35 plus, which makes the Sun Bowl. It holds 45 now with the, they took some seats away with the luxury boxes and all that, which is still a damn good crowd for game 3 for them. So, but with that being said, it is such an important game because it's a conference game. First time in forever I can remember them starting off with a conference game, and a game that's very winnable, and a game they have got to take care of business to show everybody that they are one of the most talented teams that they've had in years, and certainly that Dana Dimel has had. And oh, by the way, media not allowed in practices. I think what a crazy move this past week. Got to throw that in there.
Why? I didn't even know about this. So
Okay, so it's a whole shtick about, Dana Dimel didn't want anybody reporting about their too deep. And it was reported and mentioned on Twitter by an individual. I'm not going to name any names. But at any rate, he banned all media from attending practices going forward because somebody tweeted it out, and therefore UNT would have access to it and know that something that he didn't want to know, even though he had previously asked that their too deep not be noted at all. And it was despite the fact that Coach Dimel had asked nobody to mention it. I don't blame him for doing what he did. He's usually very open for practices. He's usually extremely open for practices for media and fans.
So you all know, like, I'm a Dana Dimel guy, right? Like,
Right.
when everyone was calling for his head, I never wanted him fired because I feel like you've got to go the whole, at least the 5 years. Get your recruiting class in there. Let's see how it goes. This is year 4, right? He should already know how petty the El Paso media is, especially when it comes to UTEP football, because it's literally all we got, right?
Right.
We have a really good baseball team in the Chihuahuas. UTEP basketball is our most historic thing here in El Paso, and yet for whatever reason, all we care about, or all most of the fans here care about, is UTEP football. He should already know that by now. Also, you have to share film with the team. You don't think that they have other people looking at all your practices and things like that? You're going to get upset at one guy sharing a tweet? It's arguably the dumbest damn thing I've ever heard.
I mean, look, when you ask somebody not to tweet out something and not mention something at all, and they do it, then it's understandable you're going to get pissed off. I mean, look, you have to have that kind of relationship with the coach where if they ask you not to do something, you don't do it. Because if you do, you're asking for trouble. And to me, he's a great coach. He's a nice coach, allowing the media, obviously, to be there, and fans, which is rare in some instances. You say, look, don't do something, somebody does it, then that's a bunch of crap, and you don't allow anybody to be in your practices anymore. Any edge you get, you take advantage of. That's the way it goes in this game or any other game. I don't disagree with what his decision was.
The Iceman getting
fired
I
up
don't
here.
disagree with his decision. I don't.
Wow.
That's a bunch of BS, man. I'm sorry. Look, it would have been one thing if he hadn't have said. It wouldn't have been one thing. It wouldn't have been one thing if Dimel had not asked them to mention the too deep. If he had not said anything and it was mentioned, okay, you didn't say nothing. But you specifically asked for it not to be done, and then it happens anyways. And I got to show you the story. And someone does it, that's unacceptable. Just saying.
Yeah, but big game for UTEP next week.
Hell,
for sure.
it's huge.
And
Let
like
me
I said,
find the story to show you.
there's a real possibility here that they could go 0-3 because I know everyone's saying that they'll beat New Mexico State. They haven't had a lot of good luck against New Mexico State over the last decade.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a guarantee that they win this game. I think if they start off 0-2, like if they lose this and then hypothetically lose to New Mexico State, the entire fan base is going to turn on them.
Right.
Because we've seen that happen a million times here. Again, it's not the players'
And
fault.
they
it's
could
not the
start
coaching
0-4
fault.
because they play the Lobos after that
Yeah.
too. So I mean, and Boise State after that.
There you go. So you're really looking down the barrel like a 0-5.
Yeah.
I guess the best case scenario for UTEP would be what, a 2-3? Because you have to beat UNT, you have to beat New Mexico State.
Right.
Outside of that,
2-3.
the entire maybe they beat Oklahoma. Maybe the sun shines on the Dogs.
Maybe.
ass
Hey,
every now
anyone
and
can win
then.
the lottery. But no, they're not going to beat OU. And of course, we mentioned that game. I don't think they're going to beat Boise State.
I don't even know how we would react if UTEP even pulled that off. I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even go crazy.
We
I
could
would
break
just
the chains. What's UTEP's record against like Big 12 schools
On the road? Like, aren't they?
any of all time?
I mean, on the road, though, I know that they're like, what?
9,000,
Yeah, 10,000 like in the last. When's the last time they won a big non-conference road game?
Never. Whenever they beat Incarnate Word that one time, maybe.
I saw some crazy stat, and I couldn't believe it. That even not just with like UTEP playing big schools and whatnot, they're 40 something
On the East Coast. Yeah,
that's insane.
Maybe I do another break the chains. What do you think?
I mean, I don't see why not, as long as it involves beer, right?
An East Coast one, like if they break the chains, beating the East Coast
Who
team.
are they going to beat in the East Coast this year?
FIU.
Yeah, they could. They play at FIU. They don't play at FAU, just FIU.
Is it? You
Let
got
me
access to the
look
schedule,
at
you
the
jerk,
schedule for you.
asking me these questions.
Let me look at the schedule
You
for
should
you.
be able
okay?
to bring up the
This
UTEP.
is phenomenal.
Wow, that's quite the hub you have up there.
You like that, huh? what is it? Let's see here. Hold on. Let's take a look. Versus Florida Atlantic.
Want to give a shout out to our
Versus
guy,
Middle.
Optimus Prime,
FIU.
tuning in from California. What's up, my dude?
They host FIU and they host FAU. So they don't go to Florida this year.
Oh, they go
don't
to Charlotte.
Middle.
Okay,
There you
so
go,
Charlotte. Maybe we break the
They're
chains
gonna
against
They're going to
Charlotte.
beat Charlotte. They will beat Charlotte, I think.
Okay, so we'll talk to our friends over at LNF again. Let's see if it's something we can get going. Because that's got to break sometime, right?
Yeah, they're due for one.
The sun shines on a dog's ass every now and then. Maybe this year is the time UTEP finally wins an East Coast game. And maybe they beat like a non-conference opponent, a big one.
I mean,
Is New Mexico, UNM's in Mountain West, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't
Boise
think
is also Mountain
Mountain
West.
Boise, yeah.
Okay.
Isn't Boise Pac-12 now?
I don't even know.
I think they're gonna move over in the next couple of years.
I've
sure the
stopped paying
Pac-12.
attention to the Big 12 and the Pac-12 whenever the marquee teams just decided to up
Yeah,
and leave.
you're right. They are Mountain West.
Yeah. So there we go. I really like let's we have to will it like Lamar Ball, will it into actual existence. UTEP will beat one of these three teams.
But here's the thing.
I'm calling it right now.
They go.
UTEP will start off 5-0.
Okay, you're nuts. You're Michigan for a change. Now,
4-1.
I say
at the
4-1.
worst.
4-1.
At
Really?
the worst.
I mean, if
The Mountain West.
I just
isn't
gotta
what it
see how
used
they
to
so
be.
you're saying they're going to beat, obviously, rather, they're going to beat North Texas. They're going to beat New Mexico State. And you think they're going to beat Boise State? Or
Yeah.
New Mexico as well?
they struggled with Boise State last year.
And traditionally any other
Yeah.
year.
They did?
Yeah.
What?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so
no,
let's
I'm
see.
just saying, like
They're going to win at New Mexico. I could see them winning
That'd
at
be
New
the
Mexico.
best case scenario for the team. I think
I
we
could
all
see them
agree on
winning
that.
at New Mexico, though. I see that being a
yeah.
very winnable game.
So I mean,
New Mexico's garbage.
so best case would be 4-1. Or 3-2, right? Like that would be like your first 5 games
Yeah.
or either one of
Yeah.
those.
2, 3.
Two, and I think I'd be
3-1. I say 3-1 because I think they're going to lose to Boise State at home. 3-1.
Yeah.
Then the week 4 is a Boise State game. I'm looking at the schedule.
That's a Friday night too
It
at the
is a
Sun
Friday
Bowl,
night,
isn't it?
September 23rd. That's the
on
Boise State.
CBS
Yeah.
Sports Network.
Ooh.
Oh, that's going to be phenomenal.
High school football will be that day too.
Yeah, but I think most people will probably be going to that game.
I feel bad for the high school kids here because Friday's like always their night, and then now UTEP's like, hey, I want to take this one against Boise State of all teams. Like it was like UTEP and
Well, Boise State's one of those programs that's like notorious for playing on Fridays.
yeah, like Maction.
Last year was on a Friday. That game,
I hate Maction. Dude.
that game
Like,
was on ESPN. It was on a Friday. UTEP and Boise State last year, remember? It was in September, too, I believe.
I like this. I think we need like more UTEP versus Boise State, just a random Fridays. We'll just do a home and home, and we'll be good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the case this year, right? Home and
Yeah.
home. Yeah.
Yeah, because last year they were in Boise, this year in El Paso.
So, what do you think, Brandon and Puga, is going to be the future of like Conference USA?
UTEP
Because-
and New Mexico State, and that's it.
They'll be going down like the Terminator, just a fist up as a lava.
That's exactly what I.
What
That's
anybody
what I
but
think. I think they're
UTEP
gonna.
and New Mexico, you stay here. Everyone else leave.
I think Brandon will get this reference. They're gonna be UTEP's gonna be like Sting in WCW. He's just gonna go down with the sinking
nice.
ship and
Yes.
never be seen ever
Look,
again for a
here's the
while.
bottom line: if you can leave CUSA, you leave. But UTEP and New Mexico
But see,
State
the thing
can't,
is I don't
so-
even know where they're gonna go. Like who's gonna
No one's
and
gonna
who's even
take
gonna
them.
take them?
No
Well,
one's
I've
gonna
already
take
told you
them.
they got to make their own conference. So that's got to be it. It's got to
Just
be
play
like,
the high school teams.
They're
lot of
in the
people
same
don't realize
conference
this.
as Montwood
So-
and Franklin.
So I've been doing research because I want to start writing a book, and this is super weird for me to actually announce this, but I want to start writing a book on like UTEP football history. They actually, out of like their 5 bowl game wins, one of them is against El Paso High.
That's awesome. Why am I not surprised?
And one of their bowl
you
losses
serious?
is against El Paso High.
So I imagine
They
were
lost to
playing
a high school team in like the
Jones Stadium the
1930s.
first few games
Yeah,
They were playing the Sun Bowl there, right?
What?
yeah.
How the hell is that
Oh.
possible, dude?
Well, and then like I also heard this the other day, like whenever you're talking about stats and like the evolution of athletes and sports and stuff, right? The entire offensive line of the Miami Dolphins in 1972, that undefeated team, the only undefeated team in NFL history, right? Averaged 255 pounds.
Wow.
That's 5 pounds less than Sebastian Janikowski.
Wow.
Mm.
Are you serious? That's crazy, man. Shoot, your right ass cheek weighs 255 pounds.
The evolution of athletes. And all this
What did it? I mean, I feel like we've talked about this before. UTEP's probably just gonna end up doing the whole independent thing if they can't.
Well,
To me-
independence puts them in a bad situation.
No, I think
like
for
that.
them, independence is the best way to go.
I
Schedule
don't
a bunch
know,
of money
man.
games and then schedule cupcakes, and you get your 6 and 6. You go over to whatever bowl game you get.
Albuquerque again.
Why
Yeah.
is every year it's going to be New Mexico Bowl? I mean, they could go undefeated and be in the New
No,
Mexico
I mean
Bowl.
they can go to like the what is it like?
The Bahamas Bowl?
Yeah,
That'd be nice. Nobody
the
would travel. but
Gasparilla Motors Bowl.
The Macaroni
What's
Bowl.
the best bowl game UTEP's ever played in?
Oh, geez, that's a
Probably
great
the New
question.
Mexico Bowl.
No. What about way back
The,
when they
the
played
famous
against,
Idaho Potato
what
Bowl.
about in Louisiana and Shreveport?
The
Was
Liberty Bowl.
They ever played? Have they played in the Liberty
The
Bowl?
Independence Bowl.
Independence Bowl. Wasn't that a better game?
We're
than
gonna
the
call
Mexico
that
Bowl?
like a
Better than
prestigious
the
bowl
Mexico
game.
Bowl. They played against Southern Miss and Brett Favre.
Then they play
It's
like
not he said, what's the best bowl game they ever played? And he didn't say the most prestigious. None of them have been prestigious. I mean,
Yeah, I guess prestigious and the best
Yeah.
kind of go hand in
Maybe
hand.
New Mexico State, like the New Mexico Bowl. Or no, you know what? I'll say it right now. They played in the Sun Bowl. Their history has them winning and losing games to high schools in the Sun Bowl.
the Sun Bowl's, being one of the oldest bowl games, the respectability behind it, then probably the Sun Bowl, I guess.
Okay, so excluding the Sun Bowl, what would we say?
I mean, I'm going to say the Independence Bowl. I don't know, just to be silly, I guess. They played against Brett Favre and a good Southern Miss team in Shreveport, Louisiana. I mean, would it really be like the Houston Bowl? I don't think so. Or the Humanitarian Bowl in Boise? I don't think so.
I really want one day UTEP to play in the Cheribundi Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And that always sticks in my head because I had to like cover that game whenever I was at ESPN. I had to watch that entire game.
That's great.
And
You
there were
must
like
have enjoyed it.
5,000 fans at this game. Just that was all that was there. And I had to watch the entire game from the beginning through the entire press conferences to talk to whoever the hell won that game that nobody cared about. I want to say it's like Miami of Ohio and like some other garbage ass team. Why
Well, at
am
least
I
it's in
dumping on these other
At
teams?
least it's in paradise, though.
I'll say the Boca Raton Bowl.
You're in Boca
How
Raton.
about
What
the
a
team that
great
always goes to
town.
like the Bahamas Bowl?
That's great.
What do you have to? Can you look up like who gets the Bahamas Bowl?
I
Is it
know
a Conference
one of them
USA team?
CUSA is, yes.
I
One of
think
them is
it's,
CUSA.
yeah.
One CUSA.
That's what I was thinking too. Like, because I guarantee this: if UTEP goes to a Bahamas Bowl, I'm going to that damn game.
As long as you can get us credentials, we'll be there with bells on.
Yeah, Conference
so-
USA.
CUSA, and then I guess they said it was Toledo Rockets, Minute and the MAC.
So
The MAC,
CUSA and the
CUSA
MAC.
and the MAC.
So is it CUSA champion?
I think it is.
Okay.
Let's see. Because I'm pretty
Go to
sure.
the
Now-
Bahamas.
Now with all the good teams leaving Conference USA, the window's open.
Yeah, got a
The
chance.
window's right there. That's all we need. You're saying I got a
Got a
chance. I found out that the over/under for
Same as the
UTEP
Liberty Bowl.
and Oklahoma is only 32.
Okay, so you're
Oh.
this is interesting. The Liberty Bowl, it says the CUSA champion receives a berth to the Liberty Bowl.
I would turn that down and be like, I'm going to the boat.
I want to go to the Bahamas.
Yeah, I'm going to the Bahamas Bowl.
Yeah. Interesting.
But it'll more than likely be by the time UTEP gets like that, where they can go to the Bahamas Bowl, they'll more than likely be invited to like the Midland Odessa Oil Bowl,
There's nothing wrong with that.
and they'll play there.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I mean, there's maybe money, TV rights, and stuff. I mean, what it is, the Oil Rigger Bowl. Crazy.
No, but it'll be interesting to see where this program goes the next couple of years with CUSA. Just
See, that's
I mean, I think we're witnessing the death of like the other smaller conferences, right? If we're witnessing the death of the Pac-12, we're witnessing the death of the Big 12, maybe, right? We get these super conferences now. They all have 16 teams. You got 64 right there. That gives you 32 bowl games. I think there's 44 total bowl games.
All right.
Just thrown out to everybody for next to nothing. And no one is going to like really care about those bowls. So these other smaller schools have to make it something fun, right? Like they've got to think outside the box and not just be your normal bowl game and actually make it fun for people to care about you because you're not going to be on TV. If I'm ESPN, I'm not paying money to broadcast that game because you don't have the chance of a good team being there. It's all going to be SEC teams and ACC and the Big Ten and whatever's left of the Pac-12 and Big 12 that comes together as their own conference.
Well, and then Big Ten. I mean, the Big Ten has like how many networks now starting next year?
God. Yeah, because they just signed that deal with NBC.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then that to me, the reason why I think they signed with NBC is so that they can get Notre Dame to join them. Because Notre Dame has a lot more rivalries within the Big Ten than it does with like the ACC.
I've always wondered why Notre Dame just doesn't go to the Big Ten.
Because if you can make $70 million a year as an independent, why wouldn't you? Because you get the TV deal from NBC. But I think they're going to be forced to join in, and I'd like to get your opinion on this, Brandon.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be forced to join a conference because if you're NBC, why would you pay them that amount of money whenever you can pay to get 16 other teams on that have just as big a fan base?
Right.
Because I think, and it's just me being a jerk, right? But I think Notre Dame is one of the most overrated programs.
Oh, I agree with you
in
on
the
that.
history of
I
sports.
agree with you on that.
Well, their name has so much notoriety, though.
Well, it's just like Texas.
It is that
and
name.
USC.
It is that name where there's the lure of Notre Dame, and obviously they haven't won a national title since the 80s. But it's all about they'll travel so well. I mean, it's based on their name alone. Everybody and their brother wants to see Notre Dame play. So when you're that type of a team, you got a lot going for you.
But this is the thing too: is like if you're not in those major conferences, I don't think you sniff the college football playoff. Like, there's no way in hell.
You've got to have it be in a major conference.
Yeah,
you got to be
and
in
that's
a
what's
Big
Notre
Five, Power
Dame.
5 conference.
That's what's going to force Notre Dame to be there. And I think going to like a Big Ten for Notre Dame would be more detrimental than if they went to the ACC, because in the ACC you get a lot of cupcakes, right?
Oh, absolutely.
North Carolina, NC State, Duke, Wake Forest. Like, you get those teams. In the Big Ten, you're getting Michigan, you're getting Ohio State, you're getting teams that have big fan bases and a lot of money to generate to actually give out NIL deals and stuff like that too.
Mm-hmm.
So the talent level to me is so much better. Outside of Clemson being one of the best teams in football, right? They're in the ACC. What the hell else is there in the ACC? So if you're Notre Dame, do you want to be the big fish in a small pond, or do you want to risk being a team that goes 7-6 and goes to the Sun Bowl all the time?
Well, and that's the thing, is that it's all about ultimately making the playoff. That's the thing. If you want to be competitive and you want to, try and win a national championship, you're not just going to try and play in any crappy bowl game, because again, it's about what your fans are going to accept. And to me, if you're a Notre Dame fan, you should be expecting every year they're going to try and make the playoff. They're going to try and win the national championship, even though more than likely it's not going to happen. But again, if you're in an obscure conference, or if you're an independent, then it makes it all a bit more challenging to be able to get to that point where you need to be, which is in the playoff.
Are you ever surprised whenever Notre Dame does make it to the college football playoff and they just get annihilated?
No, I don't think so.
I feel like that was the case back in 2012 when they went to the national title game.
Yeah,
right?
annihilated,
Yeah.
killed.
Yeah, they lost by 50 almost.
They got
It
killed.
was bad. That's Bama.
Yeah, it was Bama.
They got spanked, absolutely spanked.
Manti Te'o, shout out to him.
Yeah, remember that kid?
Have you seen the Netflix?
I watched
special?
it. I watched it last night.
Did you? Is it good?
Dude, it's like, first of all, Manti Te'o has terrible friends.
What show are we talking about?
So those that don't know, there's
Like,
a
you've
new
never
Netflix
seen
show.
this girl in person,
Yeah.
and no one brought that up to him. Was like, have you seen her? Like, what does she look like? I know what she looks like. Yeah, but have you hung out with her?
Yeah.
Like, nobody. Those questions were never even brought up. And
I mean, sometimes you just don't want to hurt your boy, right? But those that don't know, Netflix has a series. It's called Untold, and they have a 2-hour, two separate shows, right?
2 episodes.
2 episodes on Manti Te'o and how he got catfished with that entire thing, because
That poor guy.
it is such a story,
Dude.
right? Like how a guy, a defensive player, a linebacker that has a Heisman Trophy campaign going for him, gets catfished well before any of us knew what the hell catfishing was. he is like the face of catfishing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this thing, but like I want to watch it just because I remember how crazy
So
that
it's called
entire
Untold.
story
I got to check it out.
Yeah, Untold, and it's going to be the Manti Te'o stuff. They've had a lot of really cool episodes. I think my favorite one was the with Ron Artest, the battle at Auburn Hills.
Oh yeah.
The battle of the Malice of the
Malice
Palace.
at the Palace. That one
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah.
That one was great. I remember that one.
Yeah,
Untold.
no,
I
that
gotta
was
check
that.
that out.
I was
I'm
watching
gonna
that just
write
mind blown
Untold.
last night. I was like, how did? I mean, obviously, like technology is a lot different than what it was 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Facebook was still kind of getting off the ground. You know, now it's like you can't even create a fake profile without being questioned by Facebook. You know what I mean? You know, but dude, yeah, he has horrible friends. I feel bad for him. Like I felt bad for him because I was just like, how does not anybody tell you? I think the only guy or the only person that tried to like talk to him about this was his dad. Was like, you've never seen her, you've never like hung out with her, and but they weren't saying anything because he was on a mission for the Heisman National Championship. So
I think that's the thing too, right? So I never thought of that aspect of it, like how bad your friends have to be in order for you to be found out. You talk about the worst case scenario happening on national television in front of the entire world, like a nightmare like that. Your friends just let it build up that way. But then I also feel like we've all been in locker rooms and stuff like that. You hear the guy talking about his girlfriend. You know she's not real, but you're just like, okay, dude, whatever, right? Maybe that's what it was. It's like we know she's not real, but we didn't expect it to get to this level of just insanity. Because that entire story to me, like, it's so fascinating how that actually came through. And nobody, like, any of the media outlets did a simple Google search to figure this out. Because the way that it got found out, I don't know if you know this or not, Brandon, was that the people at Deadspin just simply Googled the person's name and car crash, and they found nothing.
no funeral. They looked up funeral home records, hospital records, nothing.
They had the brains to do that.
At Deadspin, when Deadspin wasn't even like a real thing, like
it was just like a little shtick, right? Yeah.
Where you would go to Deadspin, you would click one thing to look at the article, and your computer would get viruses.
Wow.
And then they actually found the woman that this person was using. They found the actual individual that Manti Te'o thought he was talking to. They were like, do you talk to Manti Te'o? She was like, who's that? I have no idea what you're talking about.
This is the worst. Have you ever seen like Cheaters? I remember that was like a big thing. I
remember
right?
hearing, yeah, sure.
I remember like watching it as a kid and thinking to myself, like, God, that's got to be horrible, right? Like you get found out right there. I just imagine like the Manti Te'o sitting in a van as like, please let this woman know who I am. Please let this woman know who I am. Are you talking to Manti Te'o? Who's that? And just the dejection in his face and his heart, like as everything crumbles around.
Can you imagine like if like somebody's using your pictures and like having like a relationship with somebody else and you have no idea how big of a story it is while they're using your pictures?
That actually happened to me.
What?
I gotta find the messages, but let me go to my Twitter because this actually not too long ago, maybe about a year, someone sent me like a message on Twitter and was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you have a different name." I'm like, "Who the hell are you?" I've got to do this thing, but yeah, it was one of those just weird random things. So let me try to find out.
Yeah, but go watch that documentary,
like
guys. It is insane. It is totally insane.
This is phenomenal.
And again, guys, come hang out with us at Bikini Joe's, Rich Beam. What's the address?
All right, this is the address.
3309 Rich Beam, Suite 101.
Suite 101. This is a great place. There's plenty going on. UFC. You have a dog competition. You have preseason football. You have, let's see, what else do we have? Baseball. You have golf. You have motorcycle racing. And they have, check this out, dude, BOGO on nachos from 11 to 4 p.m. The nachos here are really good trash can nachos out of this friggin' world. $4 Vegas bombs, nickel pints on select drafts, red beers, $2. Margarita Madness on Sunday. Buy one jumbo, giant, or tower margarita. The second is just $1. This place is great. You got to love this place. Seriously.
Yeah, come hang out, guys. This is awesome.
I love this place. This is great. I'm with my
and then
buddy
I just saw Triple G and Canelo poster
behind you, right there. 3.
Yeah, that's gonna be insane.
Fight.
Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, I am.
Because I'm not. But I was looking forward to the first two so much, and obviously the first one, whenever Canelo first signed with DAZN, like they're not going to let him lose. He lost that match. He lost the second one to Triple G as well. obviously they're not going to let him lose. For me, like all the luster over it is gone because like you could have had something great there, but again, the judges in boxing are the absolute worst.
Oh,
the
yeah.
absolute worst.
And boxing's terrible. Boxing is one of the most corrupt sports
So
ever.
here it is, the messages, right? I was approached on Tumblr by a guy that had this picture, my picture. I decided to search other social media that he may have, and Google brought up your Twitter. So I spent a moment scrolling through your TikTok posts and all these other things that you have. And they asked, like, basically, I'm trying to figure out if I'm being catfished, and the search led me here.
Wow, lucky you, man.
So I'm gonna pick that guy. I'm gonna use his profile picture.
I was gonna say, I'm one of the ugliest motherfuckers you could have gone to. You're gonna choose this? Maybe like the voice. I can see them like.
The voice is good,
Yeah.
but you ain't sexy.
This coming from a real life turtle over here without his shell, telling me I'm not sexy.
Not as sexy as moi, that's for sure.
Yeah, turtle soup over here. I got you, buddy.
That's your turtle soup.
But the Triple G and Canelo match, right? Why are you even looking forward to this, knowing like the history?
Well, no, I just saw it. I was just reminded by it. I totally forgot about it until I saw the poster.
I just think that to me the decisions were terrible in both fights. I guess I'm just looking forward to it for maybe hopefully a little bit of closure, but it's been so long now. It's like, when was the last fight? 5 years ago?
Has it been that long?
It's been a long time. It's been a while, hasn't it? 4 years
ago. And then Canelo's coming off a loss too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he lost for the first time in who knows how long recently.
Well, since his Mayweather loss.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm just looking forward to it because I love boxing, even though the judges are so corrupt. But I'm just hoping that finally maybe, Triple G can pull it off. We'll see. Wouldn't count on it, though.
And I think that's always the thing that kind of like, because I love boxing too, right? Like I love just like the science of it, everything with it. What are they, like welterweights? What they are? They've carried boxing for the last 2 decades since Mike Tyson up and left, Lennox Lewis and all that. And most of the time the decisions were so bad. And I could think of like a lot of Marquez Pacquiao matches that like you're questioning the decision. The only one where I think you could never question decisions was Mayweather because you never hit him. You could never hit the damn guy. But it was so boring to watch any of his matches.
It was very boring. Very boring. Like
maybe,
watching paint dry.
Maybe this will be the one that gets me back into it, because if these guys go, I remember being on like the Triple G bandwagon, way back, where he was just blowing up noses.
Oh, yeah.
I think one of my favorite, I think it was Daniel Garcia that he was in a match against. And he's just punching him in the face. He's got like the white gloves, Golovkin does, with like the white trunks. And they're just covered in red. And he's looking over to the corner like, why are you not throwing in the towel right now? Like, just give up on this fight because he's not going to win. Like, save your boy.
Yeah.
And they actually had to have like someone go talk, because I think Daniel Garcia's dad was his corner.
Yeah, he was.
They had him like go talk him into like throw in the towel because your kid's gonna die if this continues.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
They were smart enough to finally throw in the towel, though. Ultimately,
But I loved Golovkin, dude. And whenever I
he's
saw
great.
that match
Triple
with
G is
Canelo,
great. I love him.
it ruined it for me.
I mean, again, the judges just completely rear-ended him. But the problem is, it's hard to beat Canelo in Vegas. It's really hard to beat him in Vegas, and that's the big problem for me. But you know what? Again, I'm not surprised as many terrible decisions as I've witnessed in boxing over the years. It's a big black eye on the sport.
Pun intended.
No,
okay. Puga, what do you got coming up, man? Any comedy stuff coming up?
I don't have anything as of now, but September 21st, I'll be in Albuquerque opening for Luz Pazos. She's been on HBO. She's on show. She actually has 2 specials. Well, not a special, but she has one special called Comedy Chingonas on HBO Max, and she's also on a show on HBO Max called The Garcias. Very funny, and she's coming to the comic strip next month. But I'll be traveling up to Albuquerque to open for her, and I'm excited for that, man. It's gonna be so much fun, man.
What's been the worst night that you've had as like a stand-up comedian? Because I can think of days doing podcasts, right? Days doing radio shows where you think like you're doing so good and you've realized like you're just sinking, right?
Yeah.
What's that like for you being like up on the stage?
Well, it's one of my favorite bombing stories ever. So I was like, I had been like maybe about a couple of months in, and I got off to a good start. I had beginner's luck. I hadn't had a bad night, but I knew I was due for one. And there was an open mic downtown at Mona Bar on San Antonio, and this this place was packed for an open mic. Like it was a comedy open mic, so there was comics and the general populace was in there for the show, and I was like number 6 on the list, and everybody does their thing. And I go up there and just, I mean, I don't think I've ever felt like there's just a spotlight on you. You could vaguely see the people in the back, and every punchline that I hit for the first like 4 or 5 minutes, complete silence. Like just, it was bad. Like it was just so awkward, and I've never felt like that before. And I kind of like bailed. I was supposed to do 7, but ended up doing 5, and I was just like, holy cow! Like that was really embarrassing.
Have you ever had like moments like that? Because like,
yeah, I mean, when I tell jokes to my class and they look at me and no one laughs, and I'm just like, geez, the guys, I'll be here tomorrow same time, and they're like, great. You know, I'm like, they're obligated to hear my terrible jokes, but once in a while, one kid will laugh.
no, so I don't mean like joke wise. I mean
No.
like radio wise. Have you ever had like one of those bad days where
Yeah,
like,
when
you just realize like, man, it's just not today.
when we did the show together and I my accepted speech for winning best DJ, and you played the music for 30 minutes, I didn't get the hints. That was funny. Remember that? It was phenomenal. But I don't think so. Not that bad though.
I guess like for us, like the saving grace is like it's just us and the microphone. Like
Yeah.
you're taught that, right?
Right,
It's just
yeah,
you and
yeah.
the microphone. If you do that in
No
front,
eyes on you.
if you do that in front of a crowd on
It's different.
stage,
It's different.
you could just
Yeah.
imagine, and like you're expecting, like even if it's not like a rambunctious laugh, at least a chuckle, right? And whenever you just get like the,
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah. Oh boy, I screwed up this time.
It can get pretty awkward up there sometimes, and you know, and it still happens to this day, especially when I go up and try new stuff and it doesn't work out. It can get pretty gnarly up there.
what made you decide that you wanted to start doing comedy? I don't think I ever asked you what made you decide.
I mean, it was always one of those things I've always wanted to try, but I just didn't know how to get started. I didn't even know what an open mic was. I didn't know any of the terminology that goes with comedy, and I was at Scenics, and all of a sudden, you know, these guys show up with a stereo or a mic, and they started racking off jokes, and I didn't even know that it was an open mic. I just thought it was like an actual comedy show, and I found out like, no, you can go up if you want, and I was like, really? So yeah, I went home that Friday. I wrote I did 5 minutes, wrote about 5 minutes worth of stuff, went up, and I ended up liking it, and ever since then it's just been a snowball of
nice.
stand-up. So yeah.
That's the way it should be. I've always like wanted to do stand up, so we'll see if one day I actually do it.
Come hang out with us.
Hey, we'll try that out. Every time I see open mics and they're like, I feel so bad for people because I think I've seen like poetry ones, and I'll be like, this has got to be hard.
Oh yeah. But
How about you, Brandon? You ever gonna do an open mic night?
I wouldn't mind. You know what? I think I'm funny. I mean, you know, people have told me I should do comedy, so I would like to at least try it just to give it a whirl and see how I do.
Let's go. We'll do it. We'll all show up to an open mic one night. I'll do 5 minutes. You do 5 minutes.
I think that's about all I'd like to do right now.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me.
You're like 5 minutes. That's a lifetime.
That is a lifetime. That's a long time.
Oh yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to Fire and Ice. Remember to come out here to Bikini Joe's, 3309 Rich Beam Suite 101. Saturdays, they got the $2 PBRs, Red Beard, BOGO Nachos from 11 to 4 p.m. That's what we're going to get right now before we leave. $4 Vegas Bombs, nickel pints on select drafts. Sundays. I am looking forward to Sundays. I might be here 3 days in a row.
I don't see
Do
why
it.
not.
The Margarita Madness. Buy one Jumbo Giant or Tower Margarita. The second one is $1.
It's huge.
I might just get a margarita right now just to see like how big it is.
Yeah. Let's let.
Huge.
Yeah, and again, thank you to Alyssa for letting us do this,
Yeah,
man.
thank you, Alyssa.
Solely
We've
last
enjoyed
minute.
it
I don't know
here.
where
It's a
she went.
great
I just
place.
saw her right now.
And next week we'll be on same time tip. We got a special guest next Saturday.
Yes,
thank you.
Brandon, who's that going to be?
Well, we got Chuck Swirsky, who is the voice of the Chicago Bulls. He is the play-by-play radio voice of the Chicago Bulls. He formerly was the play-by-play voice of Michigan football, the Chicago White Sox, and he is a very well-respected fellow sportscaster. And I'm looking forward to having Chuck on to talk about the NBA and the Chicago Bulls upcoming season.
Puga, thank you so much, my guy.
No, thank you guys for having me on, man. I really appreciate this. This is like I told you guys, this was my first sports podcast, and I don't know how long. So it's good to finally
get the rust
do something
off.
not comedy for once.
Maybe
so
your
that's
last
great.
too. No, just kidding.
Be funny, man.
I kill myself. I'm so funny.
All right, everybody, thank you so much. We'll see you next week.